Dancing plague. In July of 1518, a woman named Frau Trophea began dancing in the streets of Strasbourg without stopping. Within a month, over 400 people were caught in the same uncontrollable compulsion to dance, day and night, until they collapsed from exhaustion. Some reportedly danced to their deaths. This bizarre event happened in France during a time of extreme hardship. The region was suffering from famine, disease, and social unrest. City leaders thought music might help, so they built a stage and hired musicians. Instead of calming people down, it made things worse. Historians believe it was likely a case of mass psychogenic illness, also known as mass hysteria, triggered by overwhelming stress. Others think it could have been caused by ergot, a hallucinogenic mold that grows on rye bread. Every known dancing plague occurred near Strasbourg, suggesting something about the local environment made it more likely. This is the best documented outbreak in history. Brewery syndrome. This rare condition causes a person's body to make alcohol in the gut after eating food rich in carbohydrates like bread, pasta, or sugar. The result is unintentional intoxication. People can appear drunk without ever drinking alcohol. The root cause is usually an overgrowth of yeast in the digestive system, most often Saccharomyces cerevisiae, also known as brewer's yeast. This yeast ferments carbohydrates in the intestines, turning them into ethanol. The alcohol then enters the bloodstream, raising blood alcohol levels to intoxicated ranges. In some cases, the body produces enough alcohol to trigger symptoms like confusion, poor coordination, slurred speech, and mood changes. Brewery syndrome can develop suddenly, especially after a course of antibiotics that wipe out normal gut bacteria. This gives yeast a chance to overgrow. Other possible causes include immune system issues or genetic factors. Doctors treat it using antifungal medications and strict low-carbohydrate diets to starve the yeast. People with this condition are sometimes wrongly accused of secret alcohol use. In rare instances, it has been used successfully as a legal defense in DUI cases. Alice in Wonderland syndrome. This rare condition causes people to see the world and themselves in distorted ways. Someone with it might feel that their hands, feet, or head are shrinking or growing. Objects around them may seem far away, too close, tiny, or massive. These strange episodes can happen suddenly and without warning. The brain areas that handle body image and perception, especially in the parietal and temporal lobes, seem to be involved. Electrical activity in these regions may become abnormal during an episode, causing the brain to misinterpret signals from the eyes or body. Infections, particularly with Epstein-Barr virus, can trigger it. Other causes include migraines, brain lesions, seizures, or side effects from medications or recreational drugs. Named after Alice's adventures in Wonderland, where the character experiences sudden changes in size. Some scientists believe author Lewis Carroll may have had the syndrome himself, inspiring the story's surreal imagery. Prion diseases. These are deadly brain disorders caused by prions, proteins that are misfolded in a way that lets them spread and cause damage. They defy basic rules of biology by replicating without being alive. Diseases in this group include mad cow disease, Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, and Kuru. Even after more than 30 years of research, many questions about prions remain. Prions are nearly impossible to destroy. They survive boiling, resist common disinfectants, and can stay stuck on medical tools for years without losing their ability to infect. Scientists think normal brain proteins sometimes twist into the wrong shape, becoming prions. These prions then force other healthy proteins to misfold too, triggering a chain reaction. What causes the first protein to misfold is still unknown. It might happen by chance through inherited gene mutations or by coming into contact with already misfolded proteins. How prions kill neurons and spread through the brain remains one of medicine's strangest puzzles. Stiff person syndrome. This is a rare and serious disorder where a person's muscles become stiff and have sudden, painful spasms. Only about 1 in 1 million people develop it. It gained wider attention when singer Celine Dion shared her diagnosis with the public. The condition usually starts between the ages of 30 and 60 and is more common in women. It happens when the body's immune system starts attacking its own nervous system by mistake. Most people with this syndrome have antibodies that target an enzyme called GAD. This enzyme helps make GABA, a brain chemical that normally calms nerves. Without enough GABA, nerve signals become too active, causing muscles to lock up or spasm. The result is muscles that tighten and won't relax, sometimes triggered by noise, movement, or emotional stress. It's often linked to other autoimmune diseases like type 1 diabetes. There's no cure yet, but treatments like immunotherapy can reduce symptoms and improve quality of life. Exploding head syndrome. This is a sleep disorder where people suddenly hear a loud noise like an explosion, gunshot, or door slam, just as they're falling asleep or waking up. The sound isn't real and there's no pain, but it feels very real and frightening. Episodes last only a few seconds, but they can cause intense fear, a racing heart, and disrupted sleep. The condition was first recorded in 1876, though some think philosopher René Descartes may have described it earlier. It's more common than many realize. Studies suggest up to 17% of people may experience it at least once. It appears more often in women and those under a lot of stress. Scientists think it might be caused by a glitch in the brainstem, the part of the brain that controls transitions between sleep and wakefulness. Other ideas include sudden shifts in attention processing, inner ear problems, migraine activity, or even withdrawal from certain medications. Stress and sleep deprivation are common triggers. Jumping Frenchman syndrome. This rare condition caused men to overreact dramatically to sudden sounds or commands. They would follow shouted orders automatically without thinking. It was first described in 1878 by neurologist George Beard, who observed it in French-Canadian lumberjacks working in remote camps in northern Maine. The syndrome only seemed to occur in isolated logging camps during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. As those camps modernized, the condition mostly disappeared. Experts now believe it wasn't a true brain disorder, but rather learned behavior reinforced by the unique environment. The all-male, tightly bonded camp life likely encouraged exaggerated startle responses as a form of social entertainment or group pressure. Over time, these reactions became automatic. Jumping Frenchman is now grouped with other culture-specific startle syndromes seen around the world. What makes it unusual is that only men were affected, which sets it apart from many other medically unexplained syndromes that mainly affect women. Alien hand syndrome. This is a rare brain condition where a person's hand moves on its own, doing things without the person meaning to. The hand might grab objects, pull clothing, undo actions just completed, or even act in ways that go against the person's wishes. It behaves as if it has a will of its own. Alien hand syndrome was first recorded in 1908, and only a few dozen cases have been documented. It usually appears after a stroke, brain surgery, or diseases that damage parts of the brain involved in movement, like the corpus callosum, which connects the left and right sides of the brain, or the frontal or parietal lobes. Scientists believe it's caused by a breakdown in communication between brain regions that plan and carry out intentional movements. Instead of full networks working together, only isolated motor regions become active, making the hand act without conscious awareness. The condition can last from half an hour to the rest of a person's life. Gulf War syndrome. This is a long-lasting illness that affects about 250,000 veterans who served in the 1990 to 1991 Gulf War. Symptoms include deep fatigue, muscle pain, memory and thinking problems, and skin rashes. The condition appeared in veterans from several countries after the war ended. Research since 2022 points to a key cause: exposure to low doses of nerve agents, specifically sarin and cyclosarin, that were released into the air when Allied forces bombed Iraqi chemical weapons storage sites. These exposures weren't deadly, but may have caused long-term harm. Some people are more vulnerable because of differences in the PON1 gene, which helps the body break down toxic chemicals. Other possible triggers include pesticides used in the field and pills called pyridostigmine bromide, which were given to protect soldiers against nerve gas. Similar illness patterns have been noted after earlier conflicts, suggesting a recurring medical mystery tied to war exposures. Nodding disease. This is a severe brain disorder that affects children between ages 3 and 15, mainly in East and Central Africa. It causes repeated, uncontrollable nodding of the head, especially when the child eats or feels cold. Over time, it leads to seizures, poor growth, muscle wasting, and loss of mental abilities. There is no known cure. The condition was first reported in Tanzania in 1962. Large outbreaks have since occurred in South Sudan and Uganda, affecting thousands of children. Scientists have linked the disease to a parasitic infection called river blindness, caused by a worm called Onchocerca volvulus. The body's immune system may attack the parasite and accidentally attack the brain too, because the parasite shares similar proteins with certain brain cells. In some cases, symptoms appear decades after infection, suggesting extremely long incubation periods. Chronic fatigue syndrome. This condition, CFS, causes crushing exhaustion that doesn't go away with sleep or rest. People with it often struggle to think clearly, sleep normally, or recover after even small amounts of physical or mental effort. These symptoms can last for months or even years, leaving many unable to work or live independently. Though first described in the 1930s, CFS still has no known cause or reliable test. It often begins suddenly, triggered by things like a viral infection, a physical injury, or major emotional stress. It affects an estimated 2 million people in the United States, with women making up the majority. Scientists believe several things might cause it: problems with the immune system, viruses like Epstein-Barr becoming active again, faulty energy production in cells, genetic factors, or unusual brain signals. In a 2024 NIH study, brain scans showed decreased activity in areas that control movement. Morgellons disease. This is a strange and debated condition where people report fibers, often blue, red, white, or black, coming out of sores on their skin. They also feel crawling, stinging, or biting sensations, even when nothing is visible. The name Morgellons was coined in 2002 by a mother who saw these symptoms in her young son. About 13,000 people in the United States are believed to have it. The mainstream medical view is that it's a type of delusional parasitosis, meaning people believe they are infested with parasites even though none are present. According to this view, the fibers are likely from clothing or household dust, misinterpreted as coming from under the skin. Still, some researchers argue that it may be connected to infections, especially Lyme disease caused by Borrelia bacteria. In 2012, the CDC studied Morgellons and found most fibers were cotton and no single germ or toxin linked all cases. The debate continues. Syndrome X. This is an extremely rare and poorly understood condition where a person's body and mind stop developing in early childhood, even as their age increases. Only about a dozen known cases exist worldwide. The most well-known case is Brooke Greenberg, who passed away in 2013 at the age of 20, but still looked and functioned like a toddler. By adulthood, she weighed only 16 pounds, was 30 inches tall, and had the mental development of a 9-month-old child. Researcher Richard Walker studied Brooke and proposed that her condition resulted from mutations in genes that manage the body's master developmental program. In Syndrome X, this program may be disrupted, causing different organs and body systems to age or grow at different speeds. Interestingly, all confirmed cases involve girls, which may point to the X chromosome as a possible factor. Scientists are still searching for a common genetic link among those affected. Havana Syndrome. This is a mysterious condition first reported in 2016 by U.S. and Canadian diplomats stationed in Havana, Cuba. People affected suddenly experienced symptoms like dizziness, severe headaches, hearing loss, and nausea, often after hearing strange sounds. More than 1,000 cases have since been reported in multiple countries. The syndrome has impacted diplomats, CIA agents, FBI staff, and military personnel across the globe. It is not officially recognized as a medical diagnosis, and the cause remains unknown. One major theory is that Russian intelligence unit 29155 may be using directed energy weapons to harm U.S. personnel. Other theories suggest psychological responses, toxic exposures, or focused radio frequency energy. Intelligence agencies in the U.S. disagree about whether a foreign power is responsible. A 2024 NIH study found no clear signs of brain injury on scans, but many victims describe hearing odd sounds, like marbles rolling in a metal funnel before symptoms begin.